Today, we're going to do a little AI bug bash using the Playwright MCP. If you've ever wanted to see GitHub Copilot take control of your browser, run tests on a live app, and even try to break your live app, well, this video is for you. We'll explore also like how to get the console logs and see what the network requests were, and check out its accessibility tree snapshots versus like screenshots. By the end, you'll see how the Playwright MCP can turn Copilot into your very own test engineer in a box. Amazing stuff. And if you want to go deeper into my approach to software testing, grab my free guide, the Top 5 Test Automation Best Practices. It's packed with practical strategies I use every day as a senior test automation engineer. The links are below. Imagine telling GitHub Copilot to spin up a browser, click through your app, and start testing, all without you writing a line of Playwright code. That's exactly what happens when you combine Copilot with the Playwright MCP server. Instead of writing out all the automation scripts, you describe what you want in plain English. And MCP handles all the clicking, navigating, and state management. I'm not going to show you how to install the Playwright MCP here since I already did it in a previous video. You can check that out here. There'll be a link in the description as well as up here. But yeah, check that out if you don't know how to install the MCP server. But for now, let's jump in and see this at work. Okay, let's jump into this. We're going to be using this demo website. It's called saucedemo.com. It's made for testing, so it's not a real website that actually has real things, but it's like an e-commerce site. It has a whole bunch of crap here. It even tells you how to log in. It's made for testing and experimenting with different test stuff, so it's perfect for us playing with Playwright. So saucedemo.com. Now let's jump over here. You want to make sure that your Playwright MCP server is working in VS Code. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go over here to the extensions. Go down here to the bottom, you'll see all these MCP servers. And of course you see right here Playwright, something I previously installed. What you want to do is hit this little icon right here, this little gear icon. And what that's going to do is pop up this little menu. And it looks like they have the server already started, but if you see that this is an option for you, just make sure it's started before you do all of this. Otherwise, yeah, nothing's going to happen. You'll keep asking for the Playwright MCP server and nothing will happen. So I've forgotten to start these servers before, so it's a good thing. Always check that your MCP servers are up and running. I'm just going to restart the server really quick. Then you can check out this little window down here, and when you see down here, it's like, oh, it's discovered 21 tools. That means it's up and running and good. Get out of all of this. Now you want to open up GitHub Copilot. In case you don't know how and it's not up, you just look at this at the top, this little weird little robot creature right here. And if you click on that, that'll open up your... And I am going to expand this right here. Cool, let's start a new chat and let's just ask it to log into the website and see what happens. But before I do that, I always want to make sure to give the prompt, give the chat some type of context before starting. So the very first thing I do for this one, since it's going to be a software testing thing, I say you are an expert at software testing. Today, you will be using the Playwright MCP server to do some exploratory testing of a demo website. Cool. All right, so now it wants to ask me what website that is. Let's do this. Please go to www.saucedemo, demo.com. Once there, please figure out how to log into the site. All right, cross our fingers and let's see what happens. Okay, it's asking me, would you like me to proceed? Yes, proceed to log in using credentials. Yes, go for it. All right, well, oh, cool. And get rid of all this crap. And it's reusing a session I already had before. So there's already something in this shopping cart. Oh, well. I need to figure out how to make it use a brand new session. I don't know how to do that yet, but when I figure it out, I will make another video. Okay. Let's see, what's something we can do here? Let's have it just add something random to the shopping cart and have it open up the shopping cart for us. Let's see, add a bicycle accessory to the shopping cart. And then open the shopping cart. There's only one bicycle accessory here, so let's see if it does the right thing. Oh yeah, got the bike light right there. Cool. Now let's see, let's ask it to remove the backpack. See if that's just enough context for it, and it did it. Awesome. So you can see right now, you can just keep typing in, and you know what? You can even use this little microphone right here to just talk to it and have it test things. So let's, yeah, that's about, this just kind of shows you the power of kind of tying everything in here. You can just start controlling it with your voice. And I'm just asking it to do one thing at a time. It can actually do a ton of stuff at a time. But we'll get to that in the next section. This, I just wanted to show you that, yeah, it will launch a browser and just start taking control and doing what you tell it to do. So let's see what else we can do in the next section. Don't worry if this sounds weird or complicated or anything. You're actually gaining some superpowers by doing this. Once you see this run even once and you start playing with it, you realize how fast you can go from just manual testing to really fast AI-driven exploratory testing. And quick reminder, if you haven't downloaded my free guide yet, it's top 5 test automation best practices. Hit the link below in the description. It'll help you level up your automation skills while experimenting with this MCP stuff. Okay, now let's have some fun. What happens if we intentionally try to break this app using the Playwright MCP? This is where the AI-driven exploratory testing shines. Instead of just happy path automation, you can tell Copilot to just try to break things, try to put invalid data in there, do SQL injection stuff to try to break the security of your site, and just sit back and see what happens. So I'm gonna try to figure out something to tell it to play around with. So we'll see what happens in this next part here. See if we can get it to break something. Okay, we're gonna try to figure out how to break this app. Let me see if I can bump up so you can see this a little bit more clearly. What should we do? Should we just try to make it like figure out something to break on this app, or just like let it go? I'm gonna let it go and see if it can break the app in some way. I think normally I would say, hey, just focus on one page. You know what, maybe we do that. Let's see if we can break the checkout page. What does the checkout page look like? All right, here's a form. Let's go back. Let's see if we can get it to break the checkout page. I want you to try and break this app. Let's try the checkout page and see if you can do anything to break it. Try, let's go for 5 attempts to break the app, and then prompt me to continue. Otherwise, stop as soon as you break it, as you have broken something. Is that clear? I always say, is that clear? And I always like, yeah, well, yeah, perfectly clear. I bet I can speak gibberish and it would still reply, yeah, perfectly clear. All right, what is it doing now? What, I can't find the app anymore? Let's see, maybe because I played around with it, it's not doing something? The MCP server, what is happening here? Let's see what the error is. Try capturing new snapshot. Go back to the home page and try again. All right, cool. All right. Cool, now it's back on track. Just got lost for some reason. So that's expected. What is it trying to do here? Enter a first name and last name. Just trying some basic stuff. Huh. Ah, so it found a bug. Let's see what's going on here. Very cool. So what it did was the app accepted special characters as a valid postal code and proceeded to the next step without validation or error. This is a potential input validation issue. Let's see here on this side. Does it even have that? Oh, it's not even displaying what that shipping code is. That's rad though, but you saw it found a bug immediately within 5 attempts. So I know at most companies people would love that, but this app was made to break, so it's not guarded very well. So don't get too excited that this will happen as soon as you do it at your job. But still, this demonstrates, say, hey, focus on this page, try to break this thing. I was at the beginning, you notice I was saying that, hey, try to break the entire site. That might get you mixed things. It's better, I found with AI, if you just focus on one thing at a time, at a smaller thing, and have it just really focus on something, it's much better to just do that. Like, instead of testing the entire app, trying to break it, focus on the shopping cart, focus on the checkout page, focus on just one page or one feature or one little widget. That'll probably give you more bang for your buck with AI. But now we saw it trying to test something and it found a bug. We did our job. So I'm going to go on to the next section and yeah, we're going to figure out a few other things. We're going to see if there was any console log. Did it give us any information on the back end of this that said there might have been an error? Were there any network issues or anything that could have given us any clue what was going on? So we'll have it repeat this process and see if we get any network information from it. And this is just for how to dig in deeper for debugging. So we'll get into that into the next few sections. So don't let any of this scare you. With MCP, you can just like start telling it and it will start doing things for you. So in seconds, it can start putting out all these different use cases that you might not have even thought of yourself to break things. So it does all the dirty work for you without you having to go through each scenario. Really rad. So it's very exciting to have something like this. It's great for a bug bash. But clicking around alone isn't enough. What happens when errors are in the background? Like you get things in the console that tells you why something failed. Playwright MCP can also grab the console logs, just like your developer like opens up the dev tools and grabs everything, and yeah, you can get Playwright MCP to also do that for you. So I've never tried this before. I'm going to see it work for the first time with you in this next thing. It might be a little underwhelming, but it's very useful for debugging failures and giving more information to the developers to fix something. So let's see what we can find. Okay, in that last thing you saw that we gave it bogus input and it still went ahead and tried to do your checkout. Let's see if we can get any console logs at all from any of this. So I'm going to ask Playwright MCP to capture the console logs and go through this, continue trying to break the app. Let's see if it can repeat this, what it did, and try a couple other scenarios and then show us all the console logs as it goes. Can you repeat this last action to break the app? But this time, capture the console logs and display them in the chat. Is this possible? Oh, it already had. This is an easy screen share to show. So we see right here, failed to load resource with the status of 404. Huh. So that's not anything to do with what we were doing over here, but that's interesting that there was an error and a missing resource. That's also a valid bug to open up for your developers. So right there, we also got the console logs, which I know I always forget to check, but I think it's been saving these console logs as it goes. All right, and it wants to know if it wants to try this again and proceed, and I think I want it to do that. Yes, try again and see if there are any more interesting messages from the console log. Whoa, what happened? I don't even know what it did here. Tried to access the epic sad face. Oh, so we're not logged in. Okay. That's why. All right. Yes. Log in again. See, this is why you can't always trust AI to do the right thing. Yes. Log in again and try to reproduce the invalid postal code issue while capturing any errors or issues in the console logs. All right, let's see what happens here. Oh, I hate this. Never. Need to add an item to the cart first? Yeah. Do what you need to do to reproduce that error. There's something, put the bike in there. Cool, now it's going to put in a bad zip code. User, and there we go. Click continue, and it succeeded when it should not have. Now hopefully we'll be getting all our console logs. Oh, we got even more console logs this time. Very cool. Failed to load resource, we already saw that. Autocomplete current password, failed to load resource. So it's failing to load a lot of things. So yeah, I assume that this is not really correctly hooked up to any type of backend. So maybe that's what it is. Or the site is just not being maintained and all our backend stuff is just failing. So yeah, maybe there was some validation, but it's not happening now because we're getting these errors. that could be it. But this is really interesting stuff for people to start looking at to help debug the issue. You would include this in your bug report. But console logs only tell you so much. So what happened? What about all the network resources that we're doing here? If it's like failing to load resources, what does our network calls look? What do they look like in the dev tools? I wonder if we can capture that with Playwright. Let's see in the next section. So console errors are just one of the ways we can get more context to these bugs. A lot of times you shouldn't even have the stuff in the consoles because that could be a security risk when you're popping stuff out into the console. That's something a hacker could look at and see, like the tech stack of, like, if something really breaks and pops it out in there. Happens all the time. Developers are putting console.log and they shouldn't be, and they forget to remove it, or someone doesn't catch it during a code review and it gets in there. That can give confidential information out to people that shouldn't have it. Or it can also just give useful information on how to debug what the problem is. Whatever it is, it's very cool that Playwright just gives you this without you having to do a whole bunch of fancy work. So yeah, I love this. But even more than the console logs, what I use all the time is the network requests. How does Playwright handle network requests? We'll find out in the next section. So console logs are cool and all, but what about the actual requests flying back and forth? All those 500s and 400s and 200s. Can we get that with Playwright? So yes, you can. With Playwright MCP, it also monitors the network requests and records them. So it gets the headers, the payloads, the response times, everything. So you can get in there and tell it to record that stuff as it's testing and then play it back for you. So let's try that last scenario again, breaking the app and seeing what it gives us with the network requests. I'm curious if it even has the backend set up at all. We'll see. This isn't really a real website, so I don't know how much is actually implemented. Let's check it out. Okay, let's jump back into this. Last time it logged us out, so hopefully it doesn't do that again, and we might need to log back in again. I'm just going to tell it to log back in and retry, but this time capture the network requests. So let's see how it does that. Make sure you are still logged into the site. I'll do that first. Cool. All right. Repeat the bug. Reproduce the bug. The bad postal code input bug. Again. This time, show us the network requests that happened when you submitted that form. Let's see what happens. I don't know if that'll work. All right, go in there, put something else in the... All right, here we go, here we go. And bad stuff. Succeeded when it shouldn't have. Oh, getting the network request, and here we go. What did we get? What did we get? Here are the network requests that occurred during this process. Multiple GET requests for resources that return 100. One GET request returned 404 not found, and we saw the console log for that, so it probably is a bug. And there's no post or API related to form validation or submission. So I don't think this app is actually posting anything to anything in the back end. So that's a bit of good information for us that this isn't much of a back-end web app. So I don't think they built out the back end for this. I think it's just an in-memory app here. All right, so the cool thing about this is that it grabs those network logs and it actually goes through them and it actually determines what are the failed things for you and shows those for you really quick. That's really helpful. You don't need to go through and visually inspect all the network requests. Very cool. I'm excited about it. But there's some other cool things that Playwright MCP does, or just Playwright in general, is it does something with a accessibility tree. So we can take snapshots in 2 different ways. Let's check out those 2 different ways in the next section. Now let's look at Playwright's accessibility trees versus its actual screenshots. So the Playwright MCP creates a representation of a web page as an accessibility tree. This is a human-readable format that describes all the elements on the page and even the hierarchy of the web page in human-readable terms. That makes it an excellent candidate for AI, since AI wants things in human-readable formats. Let's try this out and see what it looks like, and also compare it to just a normal visual screenshot. Both are important for different reasonings. But let's just check them out and see what they are and what they look like, and see what we can get from GitHub Copilot. All right, let's see what this... let's just take a simple screenshot. Let's get the image of the web page. So let's ask Playwright if it can just give us a screenshot. Can you navigate back to the main shopping page? You might need to log back in again. Once you're on the main shopping page, please do a screenshot. Please take a screenshot. Please take a screenshot. And just distinguish, since there's 2 types of screenshots it takes. Save an image of the page. All right, let's see what happens. And yeah, finding the screenshots, really important for bug reports as well, because sometimes an image is worth 1 million words. Oh, failed that first one. I wonder why. Sauce demo inventory.png. Where is that in here? Where is that? Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. There's the screenshot. Cool. It took this. How do I get it to? Oh, it took a screenshot, but I don't know. I kind of hate this little. It only took like a part of a snap. Let me see if we can get it to do a full page screenshot. I don't know if it's possible or not. That was a partial screenshot. Can you do a full page screenshot instead? All right, let's see what happened with this. Oh, looky there. I don't know, it's still cut off though. No, it just only got this thing. So something in it is preventing it from doing a full page snapshot. It looks like it's just doing a mobile and not an actual full page. Try one more time. Let's see if we can get it to do a full page screenshot here. There's always something wonky with this stuff. The screen on the right hand side is being cut off in the screenshot. Can you do the full desktop screenshot of the entire page? It seems like you are getting the mobile view by accident. I don't know if this will work or not. This is my last attempt, and then we'll move on to the accessibility tree part of this. And this is what it got. And that looks pretty much like this. It's still not the full screen to the right. And it's not really the full thing on the bottom. So there's some wonkiness with taking the screenshots here. Yeah. There's more to the web page. So it's not really taking the full web page, but at least it's getting the full visible view. So maybe it's only taking the full visibility thing. There's probably ways to play with that. I don't know. I think there are some arguments I can throw in here to make it do the right thing, but I'm not going to mess with it anymore tonight because life is short. Let's move on to the accessibility tree because I am curious, very, very curious about the accessibility tree. I'm curious about taking a snapshot of the page instead of a screenshot. Can you take the snapshot and walk through it for me? I wonder if it'll understand what it means by snapshot. Yeah, there we go. Whoa. What is it saying here? Oh, so it's just walking us through things. It's telling us what's there. Main content area and the footer. Let's go the, can you snapshot used for automated accessibility checks, DOM structure analysis, and programmatic navigation, but it does not capture visual layout or styles like a screenshot. Good, that's exactly what we wanted. Can you show the actual representation of the accessibility tree for the backpack? No, for the remove button on the Sauce Labs backpack card. Oh, cool. So what do we got here? What do we got here? I've never seen this before, so I am curious. I don't even know what that means. Oh, it tells you what it means. Cool, that's the roll. That's a good way to remove curse pointer. Sauce Labs backpack card. So, Do I want the full ARIA rolls and all that stuff? Yes. Yes, show us that. Show me. Show me that. Oh, cool. So it's like building up this hierarchical relationship. The image, and I don't know what these things are. So I think it's building up its own like representational view of everything and giving it reference points. And I don't know what this cursor equals pointer. Oh, when you hover over things, maybe? Very cool. I like this stuff. This is fun. I don't know what it all means, but it's cool that it has its own representation, and apparently this is human readable enough to really assist with AI. And that's the important thing, is that you can use this stuff and extract information from it. And the big deal about that is that it can take all of this stuff and figure out how to make elements for your test code to click on. So as you're doing this exploratory testing, you could have this start recording everything you're doing, write it out to a file, all this accessibility tree stuff, have it remember what happens, and then say, hey, now write an actual Playwright test, or you can say write a different Python Selenium test, or write a Cypress test. Somebody was asking in the comments, how would I use this to write Cypress tests instead of Playwright? Just because we're using the Playwright MCP server does not mean we need to write Playwright automation. The server is just a way of browsing sites, controlling a browser through AI, and getting information like this accessibility tree and getting the elements and the CSS selectors from this. I think from all this stuff, it can actually build out the CSS selectors. So very great information for the AI to then use for other things that this Playwright MCP server has no clue about, like writing Cypress tests. So if Cypress comes out with a thing to help you write Cypress tests, you can use both of these in unison together to build out your test automation. There's nothing restricting you on what type of test automation you can develop from looking at this. Hopefully that makes sense. Playwright MCP server does not limit you on what type of test automation you can eventually write after using it. Not at all. That is not the case here. But this is very cool. I was very curious about how this underlying structure looked, and it gave me a little bit of info. So snagging that accessibility tree helps your AI understand the web page better. This not only helps with your bug bash, but it also helps with creating test automation or debugging regressions that happen in your daily automation. However, having the visual screenshot helps too. Sometimes you can see the problem better. So knowing how to get both of these out of the MCP server is important. The accessibility tree is great for AI and test development, but the visual screenshot is great for those bug reports and visual inspections of errors. So now you've seen GitHub Copilot drive Playwright MCP, break the app, captures the console and network logs, and even we looked at the accessibility views and the screenshots. This is more than testing. It's an AI-powered bug bash machine. And if you want to learn more about my approach to software testing, download my free guide, The Top 5 Test Automation Best Practices. The link's below, and it's stuffed with strategies I use daily to stay ahead in automation. But now there's a question for you. What's the first thing that you would try to break with this Playwright MCP? A form, an API, or something else? What are you going to try to break? Are you going to try to go to work and break something tomorrow? Let me know. I'd love to hear how you're going to use this. You can even use it just to automate doing things like getting plane tickets, going to Expedia and checking getting a hotel. There's a lot of things you can do, not just test automation. Maybe some things that you shouldn't be able to do. But however you do it, remember, there's always consequences to your actions, so be careful. But seriously, I'd love to hear from you if there's a little bit more about this you want to hear about. When we to delve deeper into any of this stuff, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear back from you. Really, your comments, the things that you say, help me make new videos, help me help you. So please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm definitely going to reply to all comments I get. Now that you know how to exploratory test with Playwright MCP, you might be wondering, what are the best AI testing tools for software testers in 2025? What are they? It all starts by watching this next video here, because when you pair what you just learned with what's in this video, way more powerful. All right, happy testing, everyone. Take care.